Enough about that. Thank you all for being here tonight. I'd like to introduce you to our host, our friend, and a talented man who I'm so honored to present tonight, who's going to host our special panel. Reggie, get over here. Well, you want to say a few words first?
I don't have much to say because the guy who should be doing this is sitting over there. I'll be interviewing him later, and then I'll turn the whole job over to him. Congratulations, first of all, because you guys did something amazing. You made a movie. And it doesn't matter the scale, it doesn't matter the budget, it doesn't matter the length. You didn't talk it, you walked it. And for that, you have my utmost appreciation and admiration. The three gentlemen I'm going to be talking to, we're all going to be talking to, are all incredibly well accomplished, and they all work in different but overlapping fields of the entertainment business. And so I'm going to talk to them, we're going to talk to each other, and then we'll take some questions from you guys, and we'll just do that until they tell us to stop, okay? So I'm going to go sit over there, and so will they. I told you, Terrence, that wouldn't have happened with you. Anyway, the first is an amazing actor. You've seen him in a wide range of films, from Battle Los Angeles to American Sniper, Mr. Corey Hardrick. Thank you. The next person you haven't seen, but you've certainly seen his wide range of television shows he's worked on. Wait, let me get it right. From not only, who watches Power? Yeah, you do. And you watch Gossip Girl. And a whole long, long list of shows. Please, Mr. Joe Lazaroff. Last but certainly not least, an old friend, Mr. Terrence Jenkins. You've seen him on BET, you've seen him on E, you've seen him in the movie Think Like a Man. So what you have here is a film producer and director. You have an actor, you have a host who also acts. You have a wide range of success in the entertainment business. And they all took different routes to get there, but they all got there. So what we're going to do is try to find out what happened. How did they do that? And more importantly, how can you do it? Okay? They've got experience not only in their fields of specialty, but also in fields that you may want to be in. And they've got really important points of view. And I say that, and what's great about all three of them is that they work in very intense parts of the business. When you produce and direct TV shows, you're creating, hours and hours of television on a regular basis. So they work with all kinds of actors and every aspect of the crew all the time. So Joe has a huge depth of knowledge. The same with these two gentlemen. They worked with so many different directors, from big budget movies to independent films to TV shows. So they have a point of view not just about their profession, but every aspect of the business. So please keep that in mind, that these people know not everything, but pretty much. Because what I find, and you'll co-sign this, Joe, when you come on to a TV show, like in the first 10 minutes, everyone will tell you everything about everyone. So-and-so never knows their lines. The craft service is terrible. They will just tell you, you'll have your rap sheet just broke down as soon as you get there, which is one of the first lessons, which is you have to make sure that your reputation is sterling, because your reputation will follow you for better or for worse. Ain't that right, Joe?
That is true. And one of the big things that I always find is when you walk on a set, it's being respectful of everybody there. And then you will get all that information. You'll get the lay of the land. If you come in and you have an ego or you think you know everything or any of those types of attitudes, you won't get that information, the knowledge, and the respect from your crew and your cast. And you need to earn it. Every single day you have to earn it when you walk on there. It's you're as good as your last day.
Well, good as your last day. Write that down. Terrence, how many hours of television have you done at this point? Have you ever done the math?
I just left TV like 5 minutes ago. I came to see that Oscar statue. A lot. I don't know, man.
I mean, how many years were you on BT?
Reggie hired me, first of all. Let's not omit that. And that was like 2005 or 6.
Right.
And so then I did 7 years there, and then I've been at E for 3 years. So I've been on TV. I've had a call time every Monday for the past 10 years.
Right. So that's 5 days a week for 10 years.
Yes. Wow.
It's impressive.
Yeah.
Very impressive.
Blessings. And then when I really don't take a lot of vacations, so then in between when I had a break, then I would go shoot a film like whenever I had time. So we'll go and do like Think Like a Man 1 and 2, and then any of the indies and stuff like that. So it's just it's the rent's expensive in LA, so you gotta work as much as you can in this town. So.
He squeezes in movies because he's very busy. Now, was this the plan when did this, like, I have a vision of my life occur to you? In high school, in college, at what point? Or are you just shocked that this is your life and you never planned this?
Yeah, I was just figuring out ways to get girls without having to do like a lot of stuff, And when I realized that if you're on TV or you're famous, then you can get girls and really not have to do much. So I was like, you know what? I want to be like Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. And I just started auditioning for a bunch of stuff. And I got told no 1,000 times. And I got told that I was, not tall enough, not fast enough, not strong enough, not good looking enough, not smart enough. I got told that 1,000,000 times, but I always knew that nobody could outwork me and that nobody could out-hustle me. And you can't tell me that I'm not the hardest worker in the building. And so that I always use that to my advantage. And I just kept auditioning until, it only takes one yes. And then once you get that one yes, you're in the door. And my last film, I produced it, and I got told no a lot of times for that, but eventually you get a yes. And then from there, it's just all about building relationships. When I saw that the reason I came to this panel, I didn't want to see y'all. I want to see these three. I didn't even know what who y'all were. Now y'all are great. This is great. But I'm Fred. You are the man. But I did before I got here. Now I know. So I'm happy.
Please tell them the story of your BT audition, and I'll set it up a little bit. For a brief time, I was the president of entertainment at BET. And one of the first things I wanted to do was bring new faces to the network and bring a bunch of new hosts. So we did a nationwide talent search. We went to 5 or 6 different cities, and we auditioned people. And we thought, that might be popular. So there was these terrifyingly long lines along the block. So pretty soon we had to say, okay, we have a 5,000 person cutoff because there was just so many people sleeping on the sidewalk overnight to audition. So one of those people is Mr. Terrence. So Terrence, tell the story of your attempts to get in there.
Yeah, very abbreviated. I was living in Florida at the time, doing a job I didn't love. I spent all the money I had in my account to fly to New York. I slept in line overnight. There were 1,000 people in line before me. Slept in line. My number on my name tag was literally like 1,008. So there were really like people, sleeping, trying to get in there. And I went in there and I got cut. And they told, there was a big red X on my paper, and the person behind me got a green check on their paper. And I remember I was like, man, if this could get a green check, I gotta be able to at least get a green check. So all I wanted was to get a green check. So I drove from New York to Atlanta overnight for the auditions that were the next day because I just wanted a green check. I was like, I'm just not gonna leave until I get a green check. But when I did that, I got a chance to memorize the script that I had in New York. And I was prepared because I knew what was coming my way. And so the next time I went in, I was just relaxed. I didn't have anything to lose. And my expectation was just to get to the next level. I didn't care because I'd already got cut. And so from there, I ended up getting the job. And a couple weeks later, I was on the couch interviewing Janet Jackson. But the reason I tell that story is because whatever you're trying to do, whether you want to be a director, a producer, a filmmaker, for before Corey could be an American Sniper, he probably got cut or probably, went to auditions that he didn't get before he could get into a big film like that. Before he was able to be on a show like Power, which is awesome, by the way. I can't wait to see what Ghost does next season. But, oh my God. But before you can get to the Gossip Girls and the Power, there had to be a lot of no's. Reggie is one of my favorite directors ever, one of my favorite movies of all time that I just mirrored. The last film we did was off of Boomerang. And before you got that, I've read your stories of how many times you got told no on your way to the top. So that's my biggest piece of advice for all you young filmmakers is don't be scared of the word no, man. You're going to get told that a million times. The people that are still here are the ones that are resilient and the ones that keep on going. Dang, that was great.
That was awesome. That was awesome. I can't follow that up. See, I can't follow that up. He walks off the stage, he goes home.
And let me just add one thing to the no's. The no's never stop. It's really important to realize there's not some point. Now, you'll look at someone who you say, well, that's success. I want to be where that person is. That person is getting told no every day, every week. And they're going, when will the no stop? In fact, one of the nicer days of my life, I was working on a movie, and my producer was also producing an Oliver Stone movie, right? So we were sharing a cab in New York, and they were on the phone regarding the Oliver Stone project. And I could hear all the frustration and all the challenges of trying to get that movie made. I'm like, dude has a shelf full of Oscars, and he's just catching bricks. The same bricks it's a better class of brick, but it's still
a brick.
Hurts. And it made me feel great. Because I was like, oh, it's nothing personal. This is what this is. The pain never stops. Welcome to show business. Now, Corey, how did you get from Chicago to here? What made you do that?
Wow. I would say my mom. My mom got me acting, doing extra work in an Oprah Winfrey movie called There Are No Children Here. It was a long time ago. I was in 9th grade in high school. And just like your story, Terrence, I was like number 678 waiting on the west side of Chicago at Harpo Productions in the rain, and she made me go. So we waited just to be an extra.
That's like the opening of Kung Fu. You're waiting in the rain?
Yeah, we waited in the rain. And if I didn't wait in the rain, it's just like I was going to get a whooping. I was going to get in trouble. Because my mom wanted me to act, and I was like I just wanted to play basketball, to be honest. That was it. I didn't want to act, so I did it to not get whooped. And I waited in line, and me and my brother waited just to be extras or to say, like, one line. And they picked me and my brother, and he got the line. I didn't, and so what happened was I stood on, we shot the movie on South Side of Chicago for like 2 months, and I was on the Yellow Gang, and I just had on a yellow shirt, and I just stood under the train tracks. That was it, with some sandals and some brown pants. And I remember seeing the guy from like Menace to Society, he played Sharif.
Right.
And I remember I was like, man, that goes Sharif. He was walking, he had an entourage, and he was walking. They said the actor from Menace was in there. I was just like, I want his autograph. He told me no. I was like, there go Oprah. But stuff like that is, that's how I got my start. And then I made my way to LA. I lost my mom. So it's like I made her a promise that, to be honest with you guys, I made her a promise that I would come out here and I wouldn't leave until I get an Oscar. And it's crazy that I'm sitting on the stage with these gentlemen and I'm looking at these trophies right here and I'm sitting with Reg and I'm just like, wow, So that motivated me to come. I had no money. I moved straight to Inglewood. I had $75. I didn't have nowhere to live. And I met my wife. She met me during them days. She's right there.
Wow.
And she remembered them $75. I had no car. I was flat broke. And I remember living in Inglewood, which is the inner city. And I'm sure you guys are familiar with it. I would have to catch the 212 bus. to my auditions, like to Burbank or wherever, and it would take me like 2 or 3 hours, and I was just like, man, I can't keep doing this. I'm leaving LA. I'm going back home. Like I'm gonna get out of here. But I just stuck with it. I mean, I stuck with it because it was a passion, and I had a lot of faith. And you got to have a lot of faith and passion and determination, and just to survive in life, not just this business. And yeah, I mean, I'm here talking to you guys. So I'm still here. You
That's
know,
right.
I'm still here. So, and I'm still getting no's. I got no last week for a movie I wanted. They were like, no, you know, like he's not good enough. I'm like, what? And it's like I'm at home like almost crying tears to this day. Like, why they didn't pick me? I gave my best performance, and it's just like, you know, but you still got to keep going and going and going. So, and you'll succeed as long as you just put the work in and keep believing in yourself and work hard. And I mean, I'm sure you guys are doing that, and you'll be okay. That's it.
Beautiful. Joe, how was what was the first job, and how'd you get it?
That's a good one. My first job was on a commercial. Fred probably cut it. It was actually an Acura. Did you cut Acura? The Legend? Oh, okay. Wasn't your commercial. I had come out from Memphis, Tennessee, and I knew one person. That's a lot more than a lot of people know when they come out. So I was extremely fortunate to know one person who was in the business. And that was my cousin. And she introduced me to a producer who was doing that commercial. And they said, you can sit on the set and watch. And I said, okay, that's fair enough. It just came out. And I was watching, and I'm watching. I said, what are these guys? And they said, those are the production assistants. I said, that's what I want to be. That's what I wanted to be. I didn't want to be a director. I didn't want to be a producer. I didn't want to be an actor. I didn't want to be, I wanted to be a PA. I said, I can do that. That's a job I can do. And I'm watching, and then one of the PAs came up to the production coordinator and said, I can't come in. I've got a better job, which was the case in those days. If you got a 2-week job, you take it, you know, if you have 2 more days left on a job. And she's picking up the phone, making phone calls, and she can't get a hold of anybody. She slams the phone down after 10 minutes. She goes, I can't find a PA. And I looked at her and I went, I'll do it. And that was it. I mean, they said, well, we can't pay you. I said, I know you were going to pay that guy, but I'll do it for free. I'll do it for free as long as you want, because it was like going to grad school for me. It was an experience. It was learning how to be on set. And so I was a PA on an Acura Legend commercial. It was the first car commercial for Acura. And, you know, and by the end of the second day, I was the lead PA. And then he paid me like $25 out of his pocket, the producer, and said, all right, I know we said we can't pay you, but here's a little money.
How generous.
Yes.
Now I'm going to jump to the other end of your life,
Okay.
right? So,
I died in
exactly.
1963.
You jumped from producer to director. Why did you do that? And do you think it was a jump forward or backwards?
I jump back and forth. I do. It's like double dutch. And I kind of fell into the directing, though I wanted to be a director, and fell is the appropriate word. The director of record on Gossip Girl on the season finale fell and broke his nose and went to the hospital. And this was at lunch. And I called the executive producer up and I said, bad news, the director's in the hospital, what would you like to do? And she said on the phone, you take over. I said, that's what I wanted to hear, thank you very much, click, hung up the phone, and I directed the second half of the day without a problem. And I realized, wow, I can do this, and I'm pretty good. And in fact, I did a good enough job that the director of record put it on his reel, the material I shot. He said, you executed it better than I can have even imagined, and I'm putting it on my reel because I'm the director of record. And you know what? And I was glad. I was very flattered. I said, that's great. You can have the credit all you want, because it was a moment for me. And I then went ahead and they were impressed enough on the show, and they said, we want you to direct more. And then after that, they said, you know, the studio said, we want you to direct other things. And then I became director and a producer. So I've done both. I go back and forth.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. Now, Corey, you work with
Yes.
major directors. You work with Clint Eastwood, right? And then you worked on little independent movies. Compare the experiences of both. What are the benefits of each?
Craft service. The food, of course. I mean, well, no. The, I look at them both. To be honest, I look at them both as the same. I don't really say, well, one is 100 million, one is 1 million, because I put forth the same effort, because it's all a film, and you never know where that film can go. You know, I've been in $100 million movies that's weren't well, and I've been in some independents that, you know, you really can, you know, feel like an artist and get like your best foot forward. So I would say treat them all the same. You know, it's a film, you know, and it's you know, it's show business, but at the same time, it's something that you never know where they're going to end up. You know, the project. So just treat it all, be a professional, and do your best, no matter what the size of the movie. So that would say that's how I always approach it. You know, I always give my best.
Those are wise words.
Yes. As the size of the movie and the size of the paycheck, it doesn't matter. You give your
It
best.
doesn't matter, because I would do it
Doesn't
for
matter.
free. To be honest, I love acting so much. It's just like I haven't made a ton of money. I'm being real with you, guys. I haven't, because you know how much they pay. The first guy on the call sheet gets all the money in 2 through 5 in studio movies. They're like, schedule F or whatever. You're like, what? You know what I'm saying? So it's just like that's the way it is. But I'll continue to do it and stay consistent until I can, you know, one day hopefully be number one on a studio film, which is a dream of mine. So I'm still shooting to get there. So, you know, it doesn't matter. As long as you love it, you'll be fine, and just take it serious. And work on your craft. Make sure you perfect that first. Just don't say, okay, just because, you know, like people do Vines and YouTubes, and that's great. But remember, you know, there's no shortcuts to having longevity in this business. Just stay consistent and make sure the work is great first before you know, start having expectations, you know, to get, you know, all the benefits of, you know, this game. So you guys are doing well, so doing that. So I applaud you guys.
Now, Terrence, for years you're interviewing the biggest celebrities in the business, right? And then you're auditioning for a movie. So now you're switching out of one chair into another. Did you ever get any, you know, feedback from people going, hey, stay in your lane? Like, what are you trying to do? Come over here.
Oh, absolutely. You know, people will always try to put you in a box. And especially with hosts, you know, they always they never want you to be on the other side. So for me, it was just like I said earlier, not listening to what other people said. I look at somebody like Oprah Winfrey, for example, who, you know, can be the top host in the world, and then go do, you know, a film like The Butler or Selma, and you just completely, you know, lose her in that character. And so, you know, Corey said it best, is every single opportunity, you just put your best foot forward and you just try your hardest. Every single time you walk out of the house, my mom would always say, giving 99% is the same as giving 0. Like, either you give 110% or don't even do it. So for me, it was always, I knew that I was not as great of an actor, so I would overcompensate by just working that much harder at making sure every single scene, every single time, you know, I opened up my mouth, or even the off-camera work, or just, you know, even if I didn't have dialogue in the scene, it's just making sure that, you know, I thought of everything and I worked as hard as I could. Because, like Corey said it best, man, you just never know where a film is going to go. When we shot Think Like a Man 1, it was on an $8 million budget. And, you know, it was considered a really small film. And this was, you know, before Kevin Hart had really blown up. He had done like Soul Plane and some other films, and he was just like on the comedy circuit. And you know, that film went on to do $100 million and just catapult, you know, to Taraji, and everybody just kind of blew up from it. So you just never know what small film, what big film, you just never know what it'll do. So you got to give your best to every single thing you put your name on.
Absolutely. And boy, those mothers really key for both of you. Absolutely. What about you, Joe? Is your mother proud?
She is. She's always asking, well, when's your next job?
Well, that's a different question. Now, for you, I mean, you know, obviously, yours is such a fantastic story because, I mean, you came out here, like you said, you knew one person, there was no connects, there was no son or daughter of. So when you look at these young folk out here who now have a, you know, a good basic skill set, what would you say to them? What do you say about what they should be doing next?
You're hearing what you need to be doing, which is working hard, which is, and what everybody says and in the videos, the dream, and have that dream, fight for your dream, but also know when you go to work every day, you're going to get, when you hear the no's, and sometimes when you actually have the job and you hear grumpy and you don't take it personally. Don't take these things personally. A lot of times it's, I had a bad day. I'm the producer and I'm having a bad day and someone says, would you like a water, Mr. Lazaro? Ah! And then they think they did something wrong. And it's like, the last thing was that they did something wrong. And that's one of the big things that I really hope that you can get is when you go to set, you have the respect for everybody and they have respect for you. And just know that no matter what's going on, it's somebody else's crap that's happening and not your own. And don't bring your crap to work. You know, it is, and it's just being there and taking that job and taking it seriously. I was talking to someone out here earlier, I can't say anybody, but doing craft service. And I was like, that's such an important job. We all, it's, you know, these guys, they already mentioned craft service twice. If craft service isn't good or they're hungry and then they go on set and then they can't perform to their best, everything falls apart. Then the director gets pissed and the camera guy goes, he's not standing on his mark. And, you know, everything falls apart. Everybody's got a job to do on a set or in the production office or at the talent agency or at casting. Do your job. No matter how small it is, it matters. It truly, truly matters.
Absolutely. And there's an interesting phenomenon I have to just, you know, find on sets. I find a movie crew, a TV crew, are some of the smartest people I know. Like if you're talking about refinancing your house, they give really good advice. if you got a plumbing problem, they know how to fix it. Like they just know a lot of stuff. You know, you start talking about alternate fuel sources. They go, well, you know, in 1973, I'm like, how do you know that? You're wearing shorts and a sneakers, but you know everything. I mean, it's really, I'm always happy to be among the crew because I find the crew are an amazing group of people. And, you know, spending time with them, talking with them, learning what each department is, it's a really good use of your time. You know, if there's a sound guy who's willing to share his knowledge of, you know, sound, that's a smart thing for you to know. Because even if you work in wardrobe, you'll be shocked about all of a sudden you'll think about your profession differently because you just learned about sound or you learned about wardrobe or anything else. So take advantage of the high quality of people around you. Because there's so many people fighting for a job, the people who get jobs are pretty smart.
Yeah.
Right? What's the best thing you ever learned on a set that had non-acting?
Non-acting, I would say advice I got from Clint Eastwood. I was doing Gran Torino because that was the first time I worked with him, and he would sit with lunch. He would sit at lunch with me for like a week straight, just himself. And he told me one thing. He said, never worry about what you're going to get. Just always show them what you got. So when he told me that, I was just like, wow, here's a legend sitting here telling me this, just show them what you got. So I took that and just kind of ran with it, and I'll keep it forever, as long as I'm in this business.
Yes, sir.
And another thing I want to say, don't stop following your instincts, because that's what got you this far. And we're all just one away. Just because we're up here and we may have more, longer resumes, you're one job away. Can be further ahead of the game than us. So it's just like we're all in this thing together. So it's kind of like, never just kind of be like, wow, I don't have no credits, because you can go out and get one job and it changes everything for you and your family or wherever. So just stay encouraged and stay motivated, and just keep pushing.
Beautiful.
You got to hit me with a new question.
I'm
That was a great answer.
Yeah.
All right.
No one knows. There's no topping that answer.
Yeah, once he said, I was with Clint Eastwood, I'm like, who have I been with on? Nobody. Shit. Clint Eastwood talking. Start making up answers on, it was me and De Niro on the last Think Like a Man 2 with De Niro, and he was talking at lunch. Speaking of which,
Okay, here's the reverse question. What are some of the biggest mistakes you've seen? I mean, I'm talking about like, whether it's like managing your career or interacting with other professionals, just like, what are you just like, oh my God, never do that. I mean, in terms of talking to these folks. I mean, you've seen people flame out. You've seen people just put their foot in it.
I mean, pay your taxes, for sure. They're gonna come and get you one way or the other. Pay your taxes. And you know what, man? Ego and just watching people with ego is like, everything comes full circle in this industry, and the person who's in the audience right now with the reel right now could be the next hot director of the big film, this time next year. I mean, it just happens like that in every single room you're in, every single panel, just being in this town. When you go into Starbucks, there's somebody there at their computer stealing Wi-Fi that is writing the next hot screenplay, and you just never know who you're gonna run into. I learned a lot of that when I was hosting 106 in Park, because you would get these young artists and they would have these big records, right, and they would be all on the radio or even a big film or whatever, and they would just come with that ego, and then the next time, the same time next year, once that record fizzles down and people don't want to work with you, you're gone, and you just never want to be that guy. You just want to stay humble and you want to stay hungry, and if you do those things, you'll be fine.
Absolutely. Ego is the death.
Yes.
Very
Yes, it
true.
is.
Yeah. I mean, I know a lot of people, a lot of successful actors, but it could be any category, and they go, look, so-and-so is more talented than me, but I show up, I'm on time, I know my lines, and I get the jobs that they blow. Congratulations to the graduates. Make movies, make TV shows, make digital product, make comic books, make theater, make music, make stuff. And be proud of it. Right. Very. Good night.